Welcome to the Crispy Ear podcast. My name is Ellie Kerr and it's in association with Merseyside Women of the Year. And today I have joining me is Ngunan Adamu. She is the founder and managing director of iWoman. And so lovely of you to come and be with us today, Ngunan. Thank you.
Oh, no, you know what? It's always nice to be asked. I'm being asked by you.
Oh, thank you, dear. Thank you. It was an absolute pleasure when you said, because I thought, she's not going to have time. And then when I said, oh, yes, you can come this day and I can come that day. And I was like, that is brilliant because, my goodness, so obviously you were the fellowship for 2024, which was, I'll take complete responsibility for that because it's not an award that is anybody else has to opinion on it. It's mine.
Yeah.
And obviously, you know, for me, what you do for women in the city is off the charts.
Oh, thank you.
And I know that day, because you just kept throwing me daggers, because you didn't know.
Did not know at all. But you know, the funny thing is, Nikki kept on saying, are you definitely coming? Because I'd been nominated for another award in Blackpool, the Evas. And I was like, oh no, I'm definitely coming. Like, I'm going to come. Obviously, I've got so much love for you. And even on the day, she was like, you are coming, aren't you? And I was like, yeah. She's like, you're on our table.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, Nikki. And I think the funny part was when I sat at the table and you were reading out, you know, the brief, the description. And I'm thinking, God, she sounds like a really nice person. I wouldn't mind being friends with her. And then it's when you said has worked internationally. And I just looked at Nikki. I like, honestly, my heart, I went, no way. No. Like, I wanted to swear. And then the tears just started coming down. And I think I'm as hard as rock. You know, I think I'm the cold queen. Nothing makes me cry. And I mean, it's like yourself. You don't do anything to be praised. You just do it because you love, you know, you love your sisterhood. You love the city that you're from. And that's it, isn't it? So when you were reading it, I just thought, I am going to kill her. I'm going to kill her.
I know, you kept throwing me daggers. Will I get out of this building alive?
But you know what? It was, I never take it for granted, you know, and I put that on my biog as well. You know, that's my sign off on my biog. But also, I think what even made it more special was it was the year I got diagnosed with cancer. Yeah, so I got that, and then a couple of months later, I got diagnosed. And it just felt like God gave me a little gift, you know, and got me ready for the next stage of my journey.
Because it's been a tough year for you, hasn't it?
Yeah.
It's been a tough year.
You know what, it's been, but the funny thing is it was tough, but I had the best year as well, you know, because that year I think was also the year that I was the godmother. The Queen Anne. You know, so I had an amazing year. So when I got diagnosed, obviously, no one ever wants to hear they've got cancer. No. But the year that I had was just amazing. So I think I was mentally ready for it. Yeah. And then, you know, it made me spirituality. I was like, okay, there's a reason I got this. You know, and how am I going to fight it? But then I was thinking about everyone else that might be going through it as well. So yeah, it was a weird year. Yeah. Absolutely weird.
I think you've been an inspiration how you have coped with it and how you've met it head on. Yeah. And I mean, obviously the WhatsApp group just went off, didn't it?
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's for me sort of like the support that goes on in those WhatsApp groups. Yeah. Is phenomenal, isn't it? You know,
I think what you've created is a safe space, you know, and you know, and I never want us to underestimate, we've got some amazing women in this city and amazing women that actually care for each other and want to see everyone win. So when you are going down or you are in a really bad space, everyone wants to pick you up, you know. And it was so, honestly, it was beautiful, the support. Honestly, I think there was times when I wanted to go, no, leave me alone now.
Yeah. Do you know what? Because sometimes when you look at it and you go, oh my God, 54 messages, I can't catch it. Yeah, you know, I'm all right now, everybody, go home, go away.
But it's sweet because you think, oh my God, I'm loved. And you don't realise how loved you are. You know what I mean? You and your massive bar of chocolate. It was like...
I don't know how big it was.
I didn't even know they made chocolate that big. Honestly. But it's things like that, you know, that put a smile on your face and you think, oh my God, I'm part of such a special community of women, you know, and it just makes life so easy. It really does. So yeah, thank you.
Oh, no, honestly, as I say, for me, it was, I'm a nosy bitch and I like to see, I'm very, very passionate about our city and especially the women of our city. And when I saw and see what you're up to and still up to, and for me, it is about, you know, yes, you can go into a category, yes, you could go into, you know, being part of MWOTY. But I always think, do you know what? It's special.
Yeah.
It's what you do is so special.
Thank you.
So what you're up to, so obviously we've, well, I won't say come out of because of the cancer journey, you haven't. But where are you up to now with that? And then what's sort of next?
So next I'm getting a DIP flap procedure. So reconstruction. So that's where we take the fat and the skin from your tummy to build a nice boob.
Oh, good.
And it's a big surgery. It's about 10 hours.
Yeah.
However, I get a tummy tuck and a new boob, so I cannot complain. Wow. Can't complain. So I cannot wait. Honestly, can't wait for that. But that won't happen until 2027. So there's a big waiting list. There's a 3-year waiting list. I think the funny part for me was I didn't know how I would feel having one boob, you know. But and it goes back to my mindset. I'm actually okay with it. You know, I'm still confident with it. I mean, the first time I looked at myself in the mirror, it is weird because you're going, oh my, like, it's gone, you know. But at the same time, I've learned how to dress differently. But also it's allowed me to think different as well, and what's important, what's not important. And actually, I'm in a really good headspace. I think because I'm alive. You know, and that's the thing, I'm alive. But the funny thing is, a lot of people don't know that I've had, this is my second near-death experience. My first one, which is another podcast, was when I nearly got killed in Nigeria by relatives.
Oh, God.
Yeah, and I made that. So I mean, it's good, I can laugh about it now.
Wow.
But going through that actually was, again, the catalyst that allowed me to be where I am now. You know, and then obviously getting cancer, it was like, all right then, Ngunan, you've made it, you know, and there's a reason why, you know, God has kept you here. And it's funny because, like, the funny thing is I'm not religious, but I do believe in God, and I do believe that the universe is very good at, you know, putting you in the right spaces, putting you amongst the right people, making you have experiences that actually on paper you don't want to have. But actually, the road that I'm heading to, I think I needed that experience, but I just don't know what's going to look like at the end. That's the funny thing about it. And actually, I'm all right with that now. I used to be quite controlling to know exactly what I was working for and how it was going to end. And going through cancer, I don't know. And actually, I'm all right with that. You know, but I know it's going to be positive, and I know it's... yeah, I'm really excited for what my future's going to look like. I just don't know what it is.
Sometimes it's better that you don't know.
Because I'm just doing it.
But that's where the juicy stuff is, isn't it? Is the fact that if it's controlled and contrived and you know it, but then sometimes, as you say, you know, the universe has a really, really funny place of sometimes when you feel comfortable and it goes and it drags the rug from underneath your feet.
Completely.
And it's that actually the stuff that you have to go through, it teaches you that you don't sweat the small stuff.
But this is it. And I think we're both very empathetic as well. And when you're empathetic, you absorb so many people's energies, even when you don't want to. And you feel like everyone's problem is your problem. Yeah. And I think going through cancer, I realised that actually I need to be careful, you know, and there's certain people that I've known for 30, 40 years, and actually they were never meant to be in my life. And then other people you meet, and it's like that instant connection, and you think, oh my God, I love what you represent. I love your energy. I just love being around that. So it's made me be a lot more strict now in terms of protecting my energy, who I'm around, and you know, and I can't solve all the problems. You know, I just can't. So I want to be able to conserve. Is it conservate? That sounds really American. I want to be able to save my energy to do the great things that I can do, you know.
But it's also a big part of self-preservation.
Yeah.
Because what are you up to now? Where's I Woman going? You know,
I'm so excited.
Roots and Pride, off the charts. Thank you so much for inviting me. Off the chart, it was brilliant.
You know what I wanted with Roots and Pride? I wanted to celebrate the contributions of migrants in our city region. And that was a 4-month turnaround. Funny enough, 4-month turnaround, self-funded. And, you know, I realised actually my phone is really powerful. My network is really, really powerful. And I was able to make that happen. So going forward, I've opened... So when you look at the film, it's majority African Caribbean migrants. But I'm opening that up to all migrants in Liverpool City region. And trying to capture those voices and seeing how that grows. Because I think, obviously, with all this politics, you know, we forget we're all migrants.
Yeah.
You know, and... So we all migrated from somewhere. Our grandparents migrated from somewhere. I came to Liverpool in 1983. My mum was born in London, you know. So, but I've been supported by this city to do the things that I do, you know. So, and that's why I'm still here, you know. So, launching. Well, not launching. So, I've got my courses. Oh, goodness. The thing is, I love to teach. And a lot of people don't know this, but I've got a PGCE in adult education, which I did at Edge Hill University. And I did that because I wanted to train people, especially women, but I needed to have the qualifications behind me. I didn't want to wing it.
Yeah.
I needed to understand like pedagogy and, you know, different learning styles and putting schemes of work together. So I really wanted to understand like different education white papers and all of that. So now I'm like, so I teach media, I teach podcasting, but now I'm going into storytelling for businesses, but next level storytelling, networking as well, because some people get nervous about networking. So what does that look like when you enter a room? The other one is public speaking. So so there's that, and then there's another one that I'm launching called the Listening Circle, and that's all to do with getting founders together to help solve each other's problems. But it's going to be quite strict, so everyone's got to sign an NDA because we've got a lot of amazing people in this city that are just stuck, and it's like, why don't we come together and help solve each other's problems? So that's where I'm at the moment. And then I'm launching 2 products, but I can't talk about them yet.
Oh, well, you'll have to come back and do it.
Yes, I'm launching 2 products because I realised that as a founder, I've been a social entrepreneur for so long, but actually I want to have products that make me money to be able to actually put it back into the business rather than constantly chasing for funding. Like, I want to be a philanthropist. And the funny thing is that I always say about being a philanthropist, and a friend of mine said, but you already are. Stop looking at philanthropy.
But it's not just always about money. It's about your IP. It's about your knowledge bank.
Time,
and that's everything that, you know, for me, what you do and what you give back. You know,
and that's the thing. So, but in my head, every time I think about philanthropy, I want to be able to give money. I want to be able to help organisations expand. You know, I want to be able to connect people, because I've been so fortunate to work everywhere that it's like, why aren't you talking to this person? You know, and I'm a big believer there's enough room for everyone. You know, we've got to stop this working in silo, or if that person's doing it then you can't work together. Well, let's collaborate.
It's about collaboration, isn't it? Not competition.
Exactly.
And again, that for me is the thing that I think women are really good at. Is the fact that yes, we could be both doing a similar thing or the same thing, but nobody's you. And nobody's me.
Exactly.
You know, when people buy from people they like, they know and they trust. And it, not necessarily that they don't like you, but they're like, oh, well, I like the way, you know, Ellie makes me feel, or I like the way Ngunan makes me. So you know, there's enough room for everybody. But again, it's that sort of like, I should say, supporting each other.
And you know what? I'm a big believer in pay it forward. So, God, my stomach's rumbling, so if you can hear it. I had coffee, but I'm a big believer in paying it forward. So each year I used to give myself a mantra, and so I've got 2. So one is what would Michelle Obama do?
Oh, gosh.
So when I'm thinking, I don't want to get up at 6 in the morning, it's like, what would Michelle
she'd
Obama
do
do? She'll be up
She'd
doing
be up.
press-ups.
Yeah, she'd be up. I've never ever suffered from wanting to meet people or anything like that. You know, I'm not starstrucky kind of girl, but Michelle Obama, I must admit.
You'll be surprised at my next one.
Go on.
What would Dolly do? I love Dolly Parton. Love it. What would Dolly do?
I'm with you. I'm with you. She's fab.
Because she's underrated, isn't she, in terms of the charity work that she does? Because everyone sees her for her music and her big hair, but actually she does so much like charity work in America. And a friend of mine went to Dolly World as well.
Wow.
Brought back some terrible sweets, but you know. But I love Dolly Parton and I love Michelle Obama. Love them both.
Well, they're two really, you know, not feisty, because I don't like, not feisty, but women that know what they want, and they're doing it, and the story, aren't they? Yeah, and they're just doing
unapologetically.
That's it.
Yeah. So so those are my two mantras, and I think about it all the time. And I don't know if you know, like I love quotes as well. So my favourite quote is from Confucius, and it says, "It doesn't matter how slow you go as long as you do not stop." And again, that reminds me, we're not in a race with anyone. It's about what I can do within my capabilities and the time that I've got. You know, so I'm always conscious of reminding myself that actually take your time, Ngunan. You know, and you loved it. I've just finished reading a book called I hope I said it right, Ikigai, which is all about it's a Japanese form of happiness.
Oh wow.
And like the power of now and starting small and everything that we do. But I think it's our reaffirming, actually, Ngunan, you're on the right path. And so I was reading it, I read it with a smile and I finished it today.
But sometimes, again, things that you're meant to read or you're meant to, it comes across at a specific time when you need it. Yeah. So before you spoke about a network, so we've got like 4 pillars, which are network, information, money and self-belief. So which one of those resonates with you?
Oh my goodness. Can I say all 4 of them?
You can say all 4. You can say all 4. That's fine.
Yeah, all 4 of them. All 4 of them. Like, I wouldn't be where I am now if I didn't have amazing networks, you know. And it is cliche when people say your net worth. Your net worth, network is your net worth.
No, I say it all the time because I do truly believe it. Yeah. I used to say I was a millionaire, but I think I'm a billionaire.
Yeah. Honestly, like the wealth that, you know, I'm surrounded by in terms of people is just, it's astronomical. So definitely the network. So information. I've realised, obviously as a journalist, I'm a bank of information. Yeah. Oh, I can really hear my stomach.
I heard it then as well. I thought it was a truck going past.
You know, the worst thing is when your stomach's like that and you're so conscious of it, it goes louder.
Yeah, it turns the volume up.
So what were you saying then? The information.
Network, information, money.
Yeah.
So money is some people say, oh, well, I don't want money. So money for me are 2 things. It's personal money.
Yeah.
And money that you have, because sometimes when I speak to women, they don't have their own money. Yeah. And then the other side of it is money for investing in their businesses or being, you know, right, okay, I am going to ask for investment or I am going to look for a VC or, you know, somebody who'll invest in my business. And women tend to be, my background of business, like women tend to be a lot more cautious.
Yeah, too cautious.
I don't want to say risk averse, but just cautious, whereas some fellas aren't.
Well, and that's the funny thing, because when I first started iWoman, I was so, honestly, I was terrible. I never wanted to make money. I just want to help women. And a mentor of mine said, he actually said, Ngunan, while you're busy trying to save everybody else, who's looking after your child? Who's feeding your child? And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. And literally that's what I needed. I needed that shake up. And now, you know, goodness, 10 years on, I'm like, actually, I do want to be wealthy. I do want to be rich. I want to be comfortable. you know, and I don't want to be ashamed of that either. And I want to be able to invest for my future, invest for my son, my nieces and nephews. I want to be able to support people.
But you can't help them if you don't help yourself first.
Exactly.
Like the old cliche is like, you know, you put your own oxygen mask on first, don't you?
Yeah.
And I used to think, oh no, because what you do is you save your son. Or you say, well, no, because if you pass out, nobody's saving him. So it's like,
exactly.
Yeah.
So now, and so that's one of the reasons why I set up the 1000 Club, was to do with all the things that I didn't know.
Yeah.
I wanted to take women on that journey with me as well. So learning things around ISAs, pension. Women are terrible when it comes to our pension. Looking at so pension, ISAs, what's the other thing? Anything to do with investment.
Yeah.
You
and
know,
also having your own money.
Yeah. That independence that comes with it. And it's not saying if you're in a relationship, you're going to get off and leave your husband or your wife. It's literally
but
saying,
for me, I always say it's money. Money is freedom and choices.
Exactly.
You know,
exactly.
Because I used to say to my poor husband, I've had him for 45 years. I'm like, I haven't got time to train another one. So I'm keeping him. But I say, but it's one of those, I'm here because I want to be.
Exactly.
Not because I need to be.
I love that. And it's so true. It's so true.
And it does give you that, that air of, no, actually, I'm not here, you know, because, you know, you're supporting me or whatever. I'm here because...
It's choice.
Yeah, it is.
You know, and I think I think this year especially is about financial independence, innovation, collaboration. So that's a big thing for me. And the other one was belief.
Self-belief.
I mean, I've got tons of it.
Yeah.
I've got tons of it. You know, coming from a Nigerian family, I was told from the get-go, like, Ngunan, you're beautiful, you're intelligent. Like, it was constant words of affirmation when I was growing up. And Ngunan actually means God's gift.
Oh, wow.
So God's given a gift. So I always used to say, well, I'm a gift to the world, you know. or I always say, oh, I'm good luck, you know. And I always think I'm a lucky charm for people. And I truly believe that, you know. I think I've got really good energy that I'm always happy to share that energy, because it's good at charging itself back up. But self-belief is that's, nobody could tell me anything about myself. Like,
no, I've got to admit, I'm the same. And I don't know if it, because you know, I'm the same.
Yeah.
You know, there's nothing that anybody could say to me that would knock my self-confidence, except that would make me swear.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because and you know, it'd be go off in short jerky movements because I'm not listening to you.
And that's it. So you say, think, if you've got a problem with me, that's not my issue.
It's not.
It's yours, you know, and keep it moving. And especially being in the creative industry as well. I've seen so many people leave because of other people that have made their time in the workplace so horrible. And I used to say to myself, I've got the eye on the ball. I know where I'm going, and nobody is going to get in that way, you know, and that's what I followed, you know. So I'm very good at, you know, shutting people out. If you want to be negative or tell me I can't, then bye.
Yeah.
You know, so self-belief is I've got tons of it, and I'm happy to share it as well. Happy to share it.
Because that thing of like what you know, and again, it's to say what anybody thinks about you is none of your business. If you make it your business, it does drag you down because everybody can have those, you know, we all have those, you know, should I, what will he think? And do you know what, at the end of the day, you just go, do you know what? You either like me or you don't.
And that's it. And the thing is, I'm not a bad person, you know, so I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, and I was saying to them, when you're in a certain career or things might not be going your way or you've had a few hiccups, you don't need to prove anything to anyone. You know, you don't need to prove anyone wrong. Literally just keep on going. Do the things that you need to do for you. And I think when you try and prove other people wrong, that's when you make those mistakes. Yeah. You know, it's, you know where you're heading, you know where you're going, and just keep on going. So, so my self-belief is like, it's right. It's right up there, and it's not shaken for anyone.
No. What's, because obviously we've had this week, I was so impressed that you'd interviewed Reverend Jesse Jackson, and then obviously put on LinkedIn about it. The people that you've interviewed and the stuff that you've done, Ngunan, is amazing.
You know what? I've been really, really lucky. Really lucky.
No, you make your own luck.
That's true. That's true. I think with him as well, you know, he's one of those people that... So let me go back a step. The first time that I met him was when I was a BA, a broadcast assistant at Radio Manchester, and I was only around 26, 27, and he was on tour. So he's come to England a few times on tour, and obviously I couldn't interview him because I was only a BA. It's like being a runner.
Oh, right.
But I wanted to meet him, so I didn't take a picture with him. But I met him, and he's a beautiful personality, like amazing energy. And I remember leaving him thinking, I'm going to interview you one of these days. And I said, like, in my head, I was like, I will interview him. And when I did, it was quite early on when I got the radio show. I was presenting BBC Upfront, which is now UK Black. And honestly, you know what? As soon as he started talking, I'm surprised I could even get through the questions. But I remember saying to him, that's it, now I can retire. I said, that's all I wanted was you. But we spoke for ages, you know, and at the end, I just remember just thanking him and just saying, thank you so much for giving me your time. And he's like, Ngunan, I just got one message for you. Keep hope alive. And I was like, the Rev Jesse Jackson told me to keep hope alive. And in my head, I was like, I don't care how many people he's told that to, but he told that to me. Yeah. He told me.
With his own voice and his own lips, so I'm having it.
You know, and he got my name right. He told me. And you know what? But even though it was special, because I've been at the other end where, you know, I've been interviewed by certain people, and if the energy's not there, the energy's not there. Yeah. But he felt my energy, Ellie. He felt my energy.
Yeah. Well, you couldn't not. It's as big as the room. It fills the room.
Honestly, and I was like, honestly, I couldn't thank him enough.
But I don't think he could have chosen a better words to say to you, because that's what you do.
Yeah, hope.
Yeah,
and I honestly, I just carried that, and I was like, Jesse Jackson, the Rev told me, Cunard from Liverpool, Nigerian Scouser, to keep hope alive. I was like, has anyone else interviewed by Jesse Jackson?
Listen, if that doesn't make your confidence, you know, it doesn't matter. It can fill Liverpool. It can fill Liverpool.
Honestly, and he was amazing. And then another person that I've interviewed that was equally as humble was Nile Rodgers.
Oh, wow.
Oh, my goodness, Nile Rodgers. And I remember, like I said to him, like, what keeps you humble? And he said, every time I go on tour, I hand wash my tour clothes in the bath. And I said, why? And he goes, it just reminds me of where I've come from. He said, because his mum was a sex worker, you know, so he had lived in brothels and, you know, and he's had like a difficult life, and, you know, he's overdosed on drugs a couple of times. And he was like, that reminds me. And he went to hand wash everything.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I was just like, oh my God, Nile Rodgers. And he had so many stories. Again, there's my stomach, sorry. But he was fangirling the Beatles.
Oh, he's not.
You know, and every time he was I was like, do you know you're Nile Rodgers? Yeah. Like, I kept on saying that to him, do you know you're Nile Rodgers?
Yeah. Do you know the songs that you've produced and the artists you work with?
And he's telling me about Michael Jackson, Diana Ross, and I'm like, and he's like proper, you know, the Beatles and Paul McCartney. And I was like, you're Nile Rodgers. Yeah. You're Nile Rodgers. Yeah.
But it probably goes to show you that doesn't really not resonate, but doesn't sit with them. Yeah. Because it's like, oh, well, I'm just me.
Just humble. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just me.
And then I interviewed Seal.
Oh my goodness.
Love Seal.
Oh,
Interviewed Seal. And I remember he kept on cutting me. And because he came on tour with Duran Duran. Oh. And I'm asking him questions, and he's asking me questions. And I'm like, you know, I'm interviewing you. And he's like, no, he said, I can't believe that accent is coming out of that mouth. He went, I've never met a Nigerian Scouser, because he's Nigerian. And I went, Really? And he's like, honestly, he went, I can't believe it. He goes, talk again.
Isn't it funny?
Yeah.
Isn't it funny?
But yeah, I've had some fantastic experiences and some crazy ones where you go, oh, but I've had some brilliant experiences.
But
yeah.
I think those experiences and everything you were talking about before that you're bringing through Women Academy and Roots and Pride, I don't think you realise that all those experiences, how much they layer into that to be able to, you know, help others and stuff.
Yeah. And you know what? I know we haven't got that much time, but like working internationally as well and training journalists in different parts of Africa and Asia, but equally meeting other amazing women. But being on the ground, people underestimate the power of being on the ground.
Yeah.
Like I work in media and not everything you see is the whole truth, you know? So being on the ground and speaking to fellow journalists and going to women's organisations and then coming back and realising, number one, how lucky we are. Number two, we underestimate our powers sometimes and what we have, but also sometimes having too much can actually be a barrier. You know, whereas you go to countries where they haven't got that much, but actually they're the most innovative because they've had to find ways of making things work. And I love bringing that back with me as well. When I worked in Kenya, I remember they nicknamed me Furaha, which is a Swahili word for like joy and happiness.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was my Swahili name. And
they got that right then.
Honestly, they were so sweet. And then when I worked in India, I remember we were having a break and one of the Indian journalists came over to me and he said to me, he's like, Ngunan, can I ask you a question? And I said, yeah. And he said, it wasn't even a question. He just said, you don't like leaving people behind. And I went, what? And he goes, you don't like leaving people behind? And I thought, where have you got that from? All I do is train you, you know. And he said, no, I can feel it. He said, you don't like leaving people behind. And I remember getting back to my hotel and calling my mum. I was like, can you believe he said this? Said he doesn't really know me, you know, like I train them, but for him to connect with my energy, and I just realised like not to underestimate my energy, you know, and use it for good, you know. But yes, I've had some amazing experiences. But the funniest was I was training Ethiopian journalists and I didn't realise that they use a different calendar to us. So I think they're 13 years behind in the calendar. So I think now it should be like 2013. Yeah,
wow.
In Ethiopia right now. So I said, does that mean I'm 13 years younger? And they're like, no. I was like, well, that doesn't make sense, does it? But it was like very spiritual people as well. But it's just all those experiences and you think, oh, like how blessed I am to be able to do that. But I did second guess myself when I did get called up to go and train foreign journalists because I felt like they wouldn't understand me because of my accent.
Yeah.
You know, and they had no problems understanding me and they loved it. They kept on, they would say, oh, you sing when you talk, you know. So they're all sitting there going, jargon. Jargon. And I was like, they go, what's jargon? And I'm thinking, oh God help you. Now you've got a Scouse accent.
I've been training you in Scouse.
But you know what? I've been really blessed to meet some amazing people. And I think that's why I really wanted to do Roots and Pride because when I've travelled, I've been welcomed and there's people who are living here that actually are, you know, they're lonely. And I want to bring so many people, so many different types of people together to kind of celebrate each other and just remind ourselves that we are a joyful community. You know, we are a joyful city, regardless of what we see in the papers or on any medium. Like the majority of people are joyful and happy and want to see each other win, you know. So.
Oh, that was evident in Roots and Pride. But in all those experiences and all those, you know, the fabric of life that you've done, if you had to go back and give yourself a crispy ear to a younger self, what would it be that you would say?
Oh, there's a couple of things, but the big one is you're always right. Don't second guess yourself. And I've always known I'm on the right path, but there's times when I did doubt that, and when I've doubted it, that's when I've made mistakes. And everything's going to be all right. You know, that's what I would say to myself is, yeah, you're always right. I mean, mum would think, trust her.
Yeah.
But trust who you are, you know, trust the journey. You're not going to find a husband anytime soon. Forget them. But yeah, I would say to myself, because I was so cheeky. You know, I was a little pocket rocket. I was so cheeky.
You still are?
I still, yeah.
That never leaves you.
No, but I did. There's the times when I did second guess myself. But when I stopped, things started moving. So I would say to myself, you know, trust yourself a little bit more. But they say everything happens for a reason. But yeah, so it's going to be all right, Ngunan. In secondary school, it's going to be all right. You're still going to be mouthy, but mouthy with a lot more brains behind it.
Amazing.
Thank you.
I can't believe how quickly this time has gone. Honestly, we probably could do with another 3 hours.
3 days.
So, thank you so much for your time, and thank you for joining us and coming along today. It's been an absolute joy and a pleasure. Thank you for coming, and I've really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. This has been Ellie Kerr on the Crispy Ear podcast. See you again next time. Thank you. Bye.